Hey everybody, this is Ozark Prepper 1. Happy Monday, July the 8th. Had a lot of action recently where I live at. We've had like a explosion in drug use. That's what I want to talk about today, is that stuff hits the fan and drug use. You think maybe that all these people that are on the hardcore drugs, I'm not just talking prescription drugs, the people who are doing their meth, heroin, flakka, whatever it is they're doing, these people are going to come unglued, and they already are. There's no jobs. You know, I say there's no jobs. In certain areas there's no jobs, not like there was. You don't have the same buying power with $1 that you used to have. So what we have happening is these people are getting down and out. After they go through a divorce, sometimes the drugs is what led to their divorce in the first place, because they'd rather be drunk and high all the time than focus on having a life in reality. And I know that it takes some trigger events to cause it. You know, you might go through a divorce or a death of a loved one. There's all kinds of situations that drive a person to try to chemically cope with their problems. But in my 40-something years on Earth, I've never messed with drugs, other than a couple little things, but I didn't care much for it. I mean, it was some things I found interesting, but not enough to make it a lifestyle or a habit. But when these people come unglued, I bet we're going to see crime on a scale we've never seen before, because law enforcement's going to be overwhelmed. And if you want to go back in history to see what happens with rampant drug use, all you have to do is look at the Third Reich in Germany. Everybody in that country at the time, they were taking a little pill called Pervitin, and that was a methamphetamine. It was one of the first, uses of it on a mass scale like that. So when they did a blitzkrieg and stormed into a neighboring town or country, there's no stopping them. Those guys weren't going to sleep. They were going out there and they were stomping. They had rifles in their hands and they were amped up. So you can bet that when things get bad here, there'll be a time where the drug dealers, they'll be out making their stuff. They'll have a pile to sell or trade for things, and you're going to deal with that on a smaller scale here in this country. You'll have thieves armed and amped up on meth, and one of the side effects of that drug is it takes away your moral compass. It takes away your empathy for other people. So you don't care that you're hurting someone. You don't care that you're killing someone. And I'm not speaking for every person that uses meth. The scale they used it in the military in Germany back then was a whole different thing. These guys were staying up for days and days, and by doing so, it creates a form of paranoia, shakiness. So they feel that they're under attack when they're the ones doing the attacking. And that's really what destroyed the German in World War II. That's what's defeated them quicker than we did. It was they were their own worst enemy at the time, in the latter years of getting close to 1945. But you know, you could think about it. Then people all started taking that stuff in 1938. And if you've seen a regular drug user, you know how long does it take for them to deteriorate when they get on that stuff. So all you have to do is look at what happened in Germany. You know, they were kicking ass there the first few years. Nobody could stop them. And then once that drug started having its effects, they started making bad decisions. And they started, you know, crashing on when they didn't have any. And it just led to the really bad decisions, and finally they lost. And that's the truth. That's not taught in school in history. It's still taught in German history and European history. And they still sold those pills up until the 70s. I think some 1970s they were still manufacturing them and selling them. But anyway, if you have a family member or youngsters, even if they're not on drugs, drive them somewhere, let them see a really bad drug addict. You know, don't talk to the drug addict or anything, just kind of stay back and say, look, do you want to be that? Or then you could take them to another place that's a nicer neighborhood and say, do you want to be like that? You know, and that's pretty much what you got to do. You can't just say, don't do it because I said so, because they want to know, they're curious. So when they turn 16 or 17, they're going to do it if you don't say something. That stuff's pushed in their face nowadays. There's so many kids on drugs. It's terrible. I've never seen so many people in their 20s looking like they're 50 and 60. But with that being said, I'm running out of breath to even talk, so I will say over and out. Have a good week.